Hi, welcome to RAMESHSOFT video tutorials. In this video tutorial, we will discuss about what is class and object. So in Java, compulsory we should know about what is class and object, because without class and object we cannot do anything in Java, right? Now see here. So what is a class? A class is a group of objects which have a common properties, and a class is an entity. That is, a class in Java can contain fields, methods, constructors, blocks, nested classes, nested interfaces, etc. Now, basically, see here, the class definition we can define in this way as well. A class is a collection of business methods, contains implementations of business services in the form of business methods. That is, we will implement business services, our business functionalities in the form of business methods inside the class. Now see here how to define the class. So a programming language is nothing but a set of rules and regulations and syntaxes. Now see here how to define a class. Now in order to define a class, Java has provided a standard syntax. See here, access specifier class and then class name and then open braces. Some here it can be variables, or sorry, it can be variables plus methods, right? Now see here, so this is a standard way of defining the word class. Access specifier class. This is the standard way of defining the class. Access specifier class, class name, and every class must and should begin with open curly braces, and every class must and should end with close curly braces. That is, being a Java developer or Selenium developer, if you want to write something, that should be there as a part of inside the class. Now see here, let's go with one by one. Now see here, first we'll talk about access specifier. So what is access specifier? See here, access specifier is a concept which is applicable for classes, interfaces, variables, methods and constructors, etc. So by using access specifier, we can specify the scope of the thing. That can be a class, that can be an interface, that can be a variable, that can be a methods. That is, that name itself is telling, see here, access specifier. We can specify the axis of a what? Scope. In order to specify this, we have four modifiers. First one is public, next one is, second one is private, third one is protected, fourth one is default. Now, so what is access specifier? By using access specifier, we can specify the scope of a class, whether this class is accessible by outside or not, within the package or not, outside the packages or not. To do that, in Java we have four types of access modifiers: public, private, protected, default. So whenever we declare a class as a public, so we can access that class anywhere in the packages. So whenever we declare a class as a private, that means we have two types of classes: inner classes and outer classes. We cannot declare outer class as a private, but we can declare inner class as a private. So whenever we declare a inner class as a private, the scope is what? Within the class. Whenever we declare outer class as a private, we will get compile time error. That is, outer class we should not declare as a what? Private class. And protected, whenever we declare a inner class as a protected, we can access those things outside the packages, in the same package as well as outside the other packages in the child classes. That means outer class we cannot declare as a protected, but inner class we can declare as a protected. By default, if we don't define any access specifier, it will be default. So there is no specific keyword to specify default. By default, it will be default. That is, for a class, specifying access specifier is always what? Optional. If you don't specify any access specifier, by default it will be default. Now we'll talk about this access specifiers in detail in the coming videos regarding access specifier versus classes versus interfaces versus variables versus methods versus constructors. Elaborately we'll talk in the coming videos, right? Yes. Next one. So what is a class? This class is a fixed keyword in order to convey it is a class. So this is a fixed keyword in order to convey it is a class. Now third one, class name. So in Java, every class name should start with a capital letter. So the first rule when we are giving class names, every class name should start with a capital letter. Now see here, it is a good programming practice. It is a convention. By Java convention, every class name should define with a capital letter. Suppose if I declare with the class name as a small letter, no problem at all, valid, but it is not recommended approach. So every class name should start with a capital letter. And if the class name is having multiple words, every first word should start with a capital letter. Now see here, G is one word, L is one, Gmail is one word, login is one word, test is one word or not? Yes. When our class name is having multiple words, every first word should start with what? Every first word letter should start with what? Capital letter. Next one. From 1.8 version onwards, underscore is allowed for the class name. Now see here, Gmail underscore, login underscore, test. So underscore symbol is allowed from 1.8 version onwards. Now see here, our class name should not start with special characters like @ and like dollar symbols and exclamatory symbols. That is, our class name should not start with special characters and numbers. If we try to declare, we will get a compile time error. Next one. So our class names should not have the spaces, otherwise we will get compile time error, right? Yes. Next one. So class name can be anything, but it should be very meaningful. That is, by seeing the class name, we should be in a position to understand what we have implemented inside the class. That means, let me take one example here. So they'll ask you, let's feel that they're asking in the interview. So they are asking, write a program to find number of occurrences of a word Java in the below string. In the below string. Now just observe here. So they're giving the string like in this way, string something str is equal to. Now see here. Now I am writing in this way. Just observe here. Java, hello, selenium, Java. So how many times Java is there in this string? 3 times is there. It is asking the number of occurrence of a word, right? Now see here, how to define a class. So if you want to implement something, we should have a what? Class. How to define a class? Access specifier. I am declaring my class as a public. Anywhere we can access, in any package we can access. And then what is the keyword we need to write? Class and class name. Class name can be anything or not anything, but it should be what? Very meaningful. Now here I am giving some class name as a tester. I am giving my class name as a tester. Every class should begin with open curly braces, some implementations, and then every class should what? Close it. Now say let me write one more class. Public class. Now here I am writing number of occurrences. Now I am implementing something. Now see here. So out of these two classes, which is more meaningful, first one or second one? Ultimately second one, right? See here, by seeing this class name we can understand, okay, in this class we are having about what? Number of occurrences of a word. But by seeing this test, what you can understand? We cannot write. So that's why always our class name should be very meaningful. By seeing the class name, people should be in a position to understand what we have implemented inside the class. Clear so far? Yes. Now, so, and next one, every class must and should begin with open curly braces, and every class must and should ends with what? Close curly braces. Otherwise, we will get a compile time error, right? Yes. Now this is about class. Now see here. Now what is an object, right? Now see here, object. Now, so object is an instance of a class. That is, an entity that has state and behavior is known as an object. To create object compulsory, we must and should require a class. Without a class, we cannot create the object. Now, typically, an object has three characteristics, boss. That is, three characteristics, that three states. First one is a state. Second one is a behavior. Third one is a identity. Now see here, every object contains three states. First one is state, second one is behavior, third one is identity, right? Now see here. So what is this state? It means state is represents data or value of an object. That is, state represents data of an object. Next one. So what is this behavior? Behavior represents the functionality, the business functionality. Like we'll have a business methods inside the class or not? Yes, in the coming videos we'll talk. Next one. Third one is identity. Whenever we create object, our JVM by default is going to assign some ID, some unique number to identify the objects uniquely. So this we can also call as a hash code. So every object in Java contains hash code assigned by JVM to identify the objects individually, right? Now see here, let me take one class. I am taking one class, right? Yes, I am taking one class. So specifying access specifier is always what? Optional. If you don't declare by default, it will be what? Optional. By default, it will be default, right? Now see here what I am doing. So if you want to create object for this class, so what is the syntax? See here what I am doing it. See here, class name or interface name, some variable name is equal to new class name. Now say here, what is my class name? Demo. Something demo is equal to new demo. With this line, one object is going to be created of type what? Demo. So in Java, whenever we are using new keyword, internally one object is going to be created. So whenever we create object, internally JVM is going to assign one unique number for identifying the object is called what? Hash code. So we'll talk elaborately. So what happens with this line whenever we create object? What happens in Java? Almost all we'll talk. We people should be in a position to talk minimum half an hour to 40 minutes. Okay, in that way we'll talk, right? So this is the basic of class and object, right? So thanks for watching the video. Have a good day. Thanks so much.